Yo, what's up guys? My name is Brian. Just wanted to make a video on how to install a CatBack system and a downpipes on this GTS right here. This is my edition 1 right here. Wanted to show you guys kind of the process that I went through and what worked best for me. I believe that doing things yourself is the best way to do it. That way you can confirm the quality and everything, you know, that's going on with the car. You don't have to second guess or just like try to imagine what a tech did. Cause I mean, I came from that. I know how techs are, and I mean, at the end of the day, they're just humans, but I wanted to go through a few things before we start. I did everything in my garage. I have the OEM CatBacks right there. And there's not a lot of information online, as you guys may know. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm making this video. First and foremost, this CatBack has 3 valves. I was under the impression, one right there on the H pipe, and then 2 on the bottom down here. I was under the impression that it only had 2, and I heard a lot of talk online, not exactly from the GTSs, but other AMG vehicles, that if you delete or remove the valves, you'll get an error code, and then it'll put the vehicle in limp mode as well. From my experience, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I have an EVM device on the vehicle, which pretty much controls the valves and keeps them always open, which is why when I got the CatBack, is custom-made CatBack, 3-inch all the way through. I asked them to remove the muffler and the valves, so it's pretty much straight piped. My downpipes are also custom-made. They're 3.5-inch and 3-inch, so catless as well. And that's kind of what I have, but I haven't gotten any codes or anything. It's probably because of the EVM module, if I had to guess. But I can't confirm if it'll put the vehicle in limp mode. That's just what I heard. But I have the inventory intakes on here as well. I'm gonna make another video, probably later on today, honestly, on how to install that, which is super simple. It only took me about 2 hours. The CatBacks took me about, I'd say probably like 5-6 hours, because I mean, the install wasn't that hard, but I just kind of went back and forth with making sure everything was sealed. You know, I have no exhaust leaks or anything like that, so a little longer. And yeah, so here in a second, I'm gonna show you guys how it looks underneath, so you guys have a better idea of when I explain how to do it, because I figure out there is probably no better way to do it. Unless you have like a lift and a extra pair of hands, I guess. But if you're doing it by yourself, this is the way to do it. You'll need some basic tools and then some specialty tools. What I consider specialty is any sockets that are non-hex, which, I mean, hex is a standard, but I have 12-point, and I have the what they call is like e-Torx sockets, which is pretty common for any I guess for German vehicles, pretty common for German vehicles. But it's like a lot of these bolts are almost like they have a Torx head, so it's like a star head. And yeah, you'll need those sockets, or at least at the very least a spline socket set. I did figure out that some of these screws will fit a 5/16 nut driver on it, and I choose a nut driver because it's magnetic. So when it's like bolts that are really deep in there, I can just simply pull them out and not have to worry of it dropping. Anywho, somebody had just pulled up and I had to cut the video. I was like, some random person. Anyways, I'm gonna get this car up so you guys can see what it looks like underneath if you haven't really seen it. And then we'll start from there. All right, so this is kind of my setup. I'm only gonna lift it up on one side. I think it's more enough to show you how, you know, what's going on underneath and kind of what you gotta do. But typically, if you're actually doing this, you want to lift it up on both sides. Just max out those jack stands. And these are nothing crazy, man. They were pretty cheap. And if you plan on doing stuff like this, I think it's a worthy investment. But I'm gonna crawl underneath and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. All right, so right now we're looking at the front of the vehicle. Front over there. Front is towards over there. And we got the downpipes right here. Like I said, if you lift up the other side, you're gonna have a lot more clearance. With a low profile creeper, you could easily go in and out. But these are the catless downpipes, 3.5-inch, 3-inch. And then the CatBack starts from here down. One thing, I mean, you have to take this brace right here off, and then I'd probably loosen this up right here and then just make your way down. There's other clamps and stuff down here, like for example, this is all similar to OEM, by the way. It's not like, you know, the aftermarket is it's like different. It's pretty similar, and you kind of just want to loosen all this stuff up. Not entirely, because I mean, even if you loosen up, these clamps are going to be very stiff. You're not going to be able to unhook this this pipe out of the female socket. So I mean, the female end. So I just loosened them up just because maybe there's a slight, a little wiggle room, can't even talk. A slightly bit wiggle room, so maybe it'll give you some leeway. But you'll want to take this cover off, and then there's a secondary cover towards the very end. And let me see if I can get right there. There's another cover way in the back where the diffuser is, and you want to take that off, and then take all these screws off right here. This whole panel comes down. When I first took this out, there was a lot of rocks and stuff in here. You also want to take these vents right here. You want to take this off. There's one on each side. The other one is over there, and just 3 screws to hold it in, and then another in the fender liner. You take those out, lay them off to the side, and once you got these plastic covers off, there is a brace right behind this. There's a brace here, and then there's a secondary brace over here. I don't know if you guys can see that over here underneath here. You want to take those off, or else you won't be able to remove the muffler. And then if we look, where are we looking at? Let's see here. Oh, it's gonna be hard to tell. Right here. Let me see if I could oh, well, I can't really turn on the light. There is this little like hanger bracket in there that connects to the exhaust pipe. I'll show you what it looks like on the OEM, so because you can't really see in there, but it's pretty much that hanger bracket that connects to this rubber piece that then connects to the frame of the car. That rubber piece is obviously like a shock absorber to prevent any like movement or sounds coming from it. But you just take that off the OEM and reuse it in here, and then just 2 bolts on each side. So it's super easy. Once you pull all that stuff out, the exhaust is gonna drop. Well, it's gonna sag a little bit. It's gonna be, the tips are in the back bumper. They're gonna just sit on there. So the way I did it, I laid parallel to the car. So I laid straight, and then I used my feet to hold up the muffler as I pulled this side down, right? Imagine this, you pull this side down after you loosen up everything, and then just the tips are just like sitting on the exhaust tips of the bumper. You'll pull this out. It's gonna be kind of stiff since you can't move these downpipes so much. But what you could do is you could lift up the whole exhaust, the whole CatBack, lift it up slightly, so you could push the whole entire thing further into the rear bumper like cutouts for the exhaust. Push them in further, and it'll give you enough leeway to where you can actually unhook this and drop it down. And then once you drop it down, you can actually pull it back, and then that will pull it out of the holes that the cutouts in the bumper, and then you could just drop it like that and just take it out the car using that's why you need like a creeper, like a low profile creeper, so you could just slide out the car. And then but for the aftermarket one, you could just put it in by pieces, and that's kind of what I did. And then I just kind of tweaked it as I went. You definitely, I'd recommend replacing this exhaust flange right here. It was only like 20 bucks, and you can find it online. Because the one that comes with it, it's not necessary, but the one that comes with it was pretty worn out. So I figured, might as well, since I'm down here, and just do a good job, and just take your time with it. What I do recommend though is after you slide everything back in, and then you pretty much get to this stage right here where everything's already done. I do recommend turning on the vehicle and then feeling around the seams, see if you feel any exhaust leaks. Clearly I did right here, and then I filled it in with sealant, with exhaust sealant right here. Pretty much on every cavity except for like 1 or 2. There was a lot of places where they joined up that was leaking. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it wouldn't even matter because there's no O2 sensor over there. But it was just it's just preference, honestly. You don't have to do it, but I wanted to not to deal with this ever again. So yeah, you pretty much reuse this. This is the E12 Torx socket, and you could probably just find it on Amazon. That's where I got it from. So just when you're installing this, just make sure it's not hitting this this heat shield right here. You don't want to make no rattling noises. I spent some time with this right here because it was kind of a pain to get, because this little rubber piece, let me see if I could focus right there. This little rubber piece right here shifts left and right, and I mean, you're trying to get it like vertical and perfectly straight, but it's hard to do that because if you pre-tighten it, it might be off a little bit. So I had to loosen it up, and then it was just a pain to get anything in there for it to be the right size. Anything else besides that, like I said, I had a lot more room once I had the exhaust installed because I didn't come with the muffler or the valves. And as for the valve connectors, I just pulled them out and then just like zip tied it pretty high in the frame. I zip tied it to another cable or something where it wouldn't like get hit by anything or rattle. So other than that, pretty easy and pretty self-explanatory. I'd highly recommend you do this yourself if you got a couple hours in the day, because I mean, they're probably going to charge you an arm and a leg to do this. As for the downpipes, so I did the downpipes when I still had the, it's hard to see. I did the downpipes when I still had the, when I still had the OEM exhaust. So you pretty much, all you do is just loosen this up right here. Loosen these clamps right here. And then you just leave it like that for now, but you'll want to go and cut the OEM ones. Let me pull out so you can see it. You want to cut the OEM downpipes around right here. You're gonna have a cat right here behind this. This is where the secondary cats sit, behind this brace. You want to take this brace off. We're using a sawzall or a hacksaw with a metal blade. Just cut this right here, and then you would want to do it on both sides. Let me get over there. You want to do it on both sides right here as well. Cut it as high as you can without damaging anything, and then I think that's it. That's all you have to do for now down here. You could try to remove the bottom portion since you already loosened it up over here. You could try to remove this section. You might have some wiggle room over here. You might have some wiggle room. You could probably pull it out. I didn't go that way because I did a secondary cat delete by myself. I pretty much cut it here, and then removed the cat, and then put a straight pipe, welded it. That's kind of what I did, but you don't have to go that route. You can just get downpipes, and but I was able to just cut it, and then I think actually if you cut it right here, you should be able to just pull down enough and then just slide it out. I don't remember if that's what I did or not, but it shouldn't be that hard to figure out. I think that's all you have to do here, down here for now. Everything else is on top, which is like the hardest part, I think. And then, yeah, I think that's it for down here. And then once you cut this piece out and then you pull the top out, because you got to pull the top, portion that you cut from the top, or else, I mean, you can't get it from here unless you drop the transmission. So I'll cut to that right now, and I'll show you what it looks like from the top. So this is my inventory intakes, and then like I said, I'll make a video here shortly on how to install that. So pretty much once you cut the stuff down there, you will have to drop the vehicle again unless you have a step stool, because it's pretty high up. So you want to remove this cover right here. It's just 4 10mm bolts, nuts, I think, right here. Or I believe you could just pull these out right here. I never did that. I actually found out a couple days ago that you could do that, but what I did was I just did nut here. There's a nut right there, And then on the other side is kind of the same thing. Actually, it's easier to tell right here. Nut right there, nut right there. This cover comes off, and then once you take this cover off, there's a heat shield that is being held by a couple of these screws right here, right here, right here, for example. And I'm gonna try to explain this the best way possible, and hopefully this will help somebody out there. But there's other screws over here, same as the other side, and then there's one in the middle. Once you take this cover off, it kind of dips right here, and then if you look back there, there's the same kind of screw that's on the sides. It's all one in the back. And then after you do that, you can pull off the heat shield, and then you can see the cats. There are some clamps that hold the turbos to the downpipes on each side. You just pull them off. Sometimes I found out they might be seized a little bit, so you want to use a pry bar or something to try to break the seal. Other than that, you want to get, don't forget you need a spark plug socket. This is recessed in there. So as you can see right there, it's recessed in there. So you want to get a deep socket or something like that. Maybe you can, I found out you can rent one in AutoZone. So you can get that, take that out. When you take it out, I mean, you don't have to worry about it, just take it out. I found that there's not a lot of threads on here. So when you go put these back in, you actually want to, for example, they screw in clockwise. So you want to actually go counterclockwise. I think it's 5 or 6 turns. So you want to build up, torsion on this cable, which is fine. You ain't gonna go that crazy on it, so it's not gonna damage it, unless you want to go above and beyond and undo the clips down here, which are gonna be a pain. I just rather do that. Just turn it counterclockwise 6 turns, so that way when you go into the hole and turn it 6 turns clockwise, the cable won't be all binded up. So that's kind of what I do. You want to remove the top 2 first, lay them off to the side, and then you want to try to get in the back. There's a bracket, and there's 4 screws. I believe there's 4 screws, same Torx. You're gonna need a swivel head on the socket in order to get in there, and then just 2 hands and a wrench. You gotta just lay on top of the vehicle and just dig your hand back there and just feel for the bolts. They're quite literally just back there, and then pretty much all they do is just they just hold the let me flip it this way. Sorry about that. They pretty much all they do is they hold the downpipes on there, prevent it from shaking. And you just want to do that so you have enough room to get the OEM ones out. They are a pain, but I mean, with a little bit of wiggling, they'll come out. I mean, it's just patience at this point. Once you install the new ones, they're smaller. They don't contain a cat unless you go catted. They're gonna be a little bit more difficult, but they're still gonna be smaller than the OEMs. And then since they're smaller, you're gonna have a lot more room to play with. But you don't want to remove the secondary O2 sensor until you got them pretty loose. Like you loosen up the bolts back there and the bracket comes off, because it's pretty difficult to get to. They sit all the way down there. So the idea is you loosen up all the brackets. You pull since you already cut down there, you're able to pull the downpipes up, and then have more room to you'll expose the sensor. It'll be like up here once you move it out the way, and then you could go in there with an extension remover socket. I just said socket twice. The O2 remover tool, and then just go in there, break it loose. I recommend the impact to break it loose, and then just go by hand for the rest of the way. Do the same thing on the other side, and then when you pull the top out, you obviously already removed the bottom, so your downpipe should come in 2 pieces. One that is straight down, and then the other one, well, they're both straight down, but you don't want to buy the ones that are straight and curve a little bit. They're going to make your life hell. Do not buy those. Buy the downpipes that go straight, and then they separate. There's a clamp that connects the bottom half of the the rest of the downpipe that connects to the CatBack. So just do that. Feed the top portion first. You kind of wiggle it in there. You have to turn it. You know, you gotta. It's nothing crazy. You just gotta turn it, feel it, and then just sit in there. Before you place the new downpipes in there, connect the bottom O2 sensor. So pretty much you're doing everything in reverse. Connect the bottom O2 sensor. You know, make sure they're hand tight. Well, not hand tight, but like tight enough to where like you're not gonna need a tool. That, you know, they're pretty snug in there. I personally didn't torque any of the stuff here. I don't think it's necessary. You really don't need it per se, but you can probably look up the torque spec for these online. But anyway, just do that on both sides, and then just pretty much complete everything up here. Like, you know, put the brown O2 sensors on, put the clamp on that connects to the turbo, put the heat shield, put all the brackets back there, and then just screw everything together. And then one thing I will say, I still got my stuff over here. So this is the portion that connects to the bracket. So this is the top right here. This is the portion that connects to the bracket right here. So these nuts, your downpipe should come with new bolts and nuts, because these nuts are in here. You can't get them out. So just keep that in mind. So what I would do is, actually what I did was, I actually put that bracket in first, and then put the downpipes on there, like top portion, because at least that bracket could hold it somewhat. Because otherwise, the downpipes would just fall in there, and then you're gonna have to hold it and then do all that. So at least you kind of get it in there. Just start the threads, you know, and just try to line everything up. It's possible. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It's not that hard. So once you got that completed, it'll kind of look like this on the top end. And then on the bottom, you pretty much just slide in one portion. Don't throw away your exhaust flange if you don't have another one. Like the one I was talking about earlier, the one I bought new for 20 bucks. Don't throw that away. You need to keep it. So you got to reuse that unless you buy another one. And just slide it in, and then just line it up, clamp it, and then that's pretty much it, man. It's super easy. It's not crazy if you're just slightly mechanically inclined. And as long as you're willing to learn, you could get this done. Super easy. I wouldn't say crazy easy, but at a 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 4 or 5. It's more time consuming than anything. It's not really difficult per se, as long as you have the right tools, which I just pretty much already told you. Definitely get some spline sockets. Definitely get swivel heads. Definitely get the O2 sensor removal thing tool. If you don't have one already, you basically need basic sockets and just whatnot. Get the car lifted up, and then you have plenty of room to work underneath. Get a creeper, so you can see right there. And then, yeah, that should be it. Then I'll put a audio clip here at the end so you can see what it sounds like. But yeah, thanks for watching, man. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll definitely respond. I mean, I'll try to help as much as I can. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to help you guys out, because all this stuff I had to figure out myself. There's very little videos on how to do any of this stuff online. So I just kind of did a lot of research, trying to gather everything I could, and just kind of combine them together to get this. So I'm making these videos because this is just all my experience from doing the job.